Hello, everyone. Good morning to all of you who live in places where it's currently morning. Um, the camera will go on eventually, but I just need some time. So bear with me, uh, if you would. And if you'd be so kind, please post that in the comments for those who have yet to join. That the camera will go on eventually, but not quite yet. And we'll get started shortly. Um, so I started watching the first Transformers series yesterday. I don't think I'm going to continue it, however. Um, Not a big fan of the presentation. I don't like Megatron's design. Um, his voice. He just doesn't have the same presence that later Megatrons do. Um, Now, this is also due to the fact that the Megatron that I more or less grew up with, in terms of voice acting, mainly is the one who started playing the character in the Beast Wars series, uh, and as far as I'm aware, continued playing the role at least until um, Transformers Cybertron. So Beast Wars, Armada, um, Energon, and Cybertron, and I don't know if there are other incarnations in which he portrayed Megatron, but those are the only ones I'm aware of. And I also find his designs in those series to be quite striking, um, in a positive way, much more intimidating. He just doesn't do anything for me in G1. I'm sure at the time his ability to transform into a giant gun was seen as cool and threatening, but it just comes off as rather silly to me. Optimus, nothing against Peter Cullen, but I just don't think that he was a good Optimus. But then again, I'm aware of the fact that the way in which characters are written changes. So the Optimus that we had back then, is not the one that we, had gotten years later. Luia Tarnowska. Hello. Uh, I take it that's your dog? Okay, so I should probably get up at this point and go about getting some things started. Starting to get them, starting to get some, starting to get some things done. Mm. Mm. I think something that's always bugged me about the Transformers, and this goes for every series, is the fact that they look cool, but nothing about the way in which they fight really makes it clear that they're advanced machines. They use conventional guns. They head for cover to avoid getting shot. You'd think that their bodies, their armor, whatever, would be somewhat resistant to the types of ammunition that they use because they're essentially built for combat, right? They're not, soldiers in the same way as human soldiers are, right? They're literally machines. So since they're machines and since they are from an alien planet and they're supposed to be comprised of tech that's far more advanced, I don't really see anything that indicates that they're advanced. They don't have personal energy shields. Um, they don't have. Um, I mean, they have, scanners. I believe they all have some type of scanners systems. Um, in some incarnations, they're able to self repair, but that's not every series. Um, some of them have weaponry even during vehicle mode, but that's not all of them. Um, apologies for the yawning just now. Insight Hub. Hello. And hey there, Moon. How's it going? Yeah, but that's always bugged me. If you're gonna say that something's advanced, it needs to appear as such. Um, when we look at Marvel, we know why. We get a clear picture as to why. Iron Man's suits are advanced, right? Because of the weapons he uses, because of the way in which the suits operate, because of the amount of punishment the suits can take, because of, the systems they provide him with. We don't get that kind of information for the Transformers. All we know is that you know, they're big, they can communicate, they have emotions, they've got something in the way of a soul, uh, and they can turn into vehicles. But we don't uh, really get an idea as to whether or not they can turn into any vehicle or if they're stuck with certain vehicle types. It seems implied that they can use a scanner system to scan any vehicle and then transform into that, but I don't recall there having ever been an instance in which, say, Optimus scans a different type of truck and then uses that as his vehicle form over a tractor trailer. And I know it's a bit silly to, have this as an argument, considering the fact that the sole reason for these series is to sell toys, but you still want it to be a series. This isn't the Power Rangers. Like, a lot of the Transformers series are much better written than the Power Rangers series. So that's when you have to think to yourself, okay, are we only writing these series for the purposes of selling toys, or are we also writing, an entertaining cartoon that also has an interesting story, has really has a bunch of cool scenes, and it really gets the point across that these are what we say they are. Um, I don't really see a reason as to why the Transformers have to come from another planet, given what we know of them. Transformer fan, hey, good to see you. Good to see you back. Given what we see of them, why couldn't they just be? Why couldn't they just originate from the planet Earth? There's nothing necessarily alien about their weaponry and their technology. Because when I think alien, I think, something massive, something mind blowing, not, you know, old school Star Wars level weaponry. I think, you know, energy shields that can project around you. I think the ability for every single one of them to fly. I think Transformers should have, you know, gadgets and weapons on board that are like what Ultron could do and other, machine-based characters can do. Maybe like anti-gravity, uh, like maybe the ability to, you know, uh, eliminate gravity and levitate. Uh, Maybe even use that to like levitate objects. Maybe, um, some kind of device that's built into their hands that can produce like a concussive blast, right? Um, which would again really get the point across, that these are advanced robots, that really are a force to be reckoned with. But they get easily tagged by single shots. And I don't know, it just bugs me. But anyway, let's get into it. So, in this stream, I thought we would talk about, um, for starters, what should the morphing command be? Hold on, I gotta mute for a second. Sorry about that. We're back. Hey there. Hand back, Cat Stowe. Also, please consider leaving a like. Really helps the stream. If you'd like to do so, that is. Hello, Transformer fan, if I hadn't said so already. I had to mute for a second because my mother is downstairs. But anyway, I think the morphing command for Power Rangers Cybertron should simply be transform. Because, I mean, what else makes sense? Not sure how much we can get into it, because, well, reasons, personal reasons, if you will. But rest assured, there will be a stream every single day from this point forward. And even if this isn't discussed at length, we will have something to talk about that's related to it. Hello there, my brother. It is always good to see you. Hope you are doing well. That's, my brother, Fresh 2000. He's sitting at 1,000 subs. He does great work. Please check him out. He does reviews and reactions of a series called, is it Digital Circus? So if you're a fan of that and or are interested in that, consider checking him out. Checking out his videos, his shorts. I believe he also does videos related to Marvel, and I think pop culture in general. So if that's your thing, then consider checking his channel out. Fresh, if you're still here and wouldn't mind doing so, please leave a link to your channel so these lovely people can see what you're all about. Planning to start freelancing. Well, the stream was supposed to be another stream about that fun little idea that's a crossover of the Transformers, Power Rangers, and Iron Man. And please excuse that sound. That is a street cleaner. I have no control over that. I'll repeat that if you didn't hear what I had just said. So yeah, that's why this is called Power Rangers Cybertron. And I'll explain to you what the premise is. I'm not sure what to tell you because I don't know what skills you have. I don't know what your background is. As for what skills do I think AI is replacing the fastest? Hard to say. I don't actually believe AI is outright replacing skills. I think that's very much an exaggeration. People don't seem to realize how much time it's going to take for their nightmare scenarios to take place. Um, and it will take time. They also fail to realize that a lot of these people that are putting up data centers have literally no idea what they're doing. They just have a lot of money and they're not even thinking about the long term. They just want it done quickly. And when you try to build something quickly, there's a good chance it's all going to come crashing down. So that's why I'm not exactly as worried as I used to be. Um, it's also because there are a lot of people standing against it, and there are measures being taken to thwart it, um, and you just don't see it as often as you probably should. Ryan the Lion, hello. Um, oh yeah, that's right. He does have a picture of Sasuke. Sasuke Uchiha. I will say this, getting back to the AI talk. When it comes to careers, the ones that will remain and continue to thrive are those that revolve around creativity. So, anything to do with writing, anything to do with art, anything to do with music, especially writing. If we're talking writing stories, books of any type, those will be safe. I would even lump in content creation. Also science, which isn't necessarily creativity. I mean, it kind of is, but not strictly speaking. Your Skynet fears are greatly exaggerated and completely absurd. And if they ever do occur, it's not going to happen while you're alive. It just isn't. Many people don't think about things logically. They just see warning videos and they don't listen to, they don't, consider who's talking about this stuff. There are a lot of instances where you'll hear somebody who has no background in something talking about something. I'll give you an example. Imagine if I was to do a video saying the earth is going to end in 2030. Why would you have any reason to listen to me?
when I have no background in science. I'm not a geologist. I am not an environmentalist. I am just a man with a high school diploma who is working on a novel and streams YouTube videos. You shouldn't trust anything I say on that subject. Just like you shouldn't trust the words of a psychologist when it comes to world events. Just don't listen. There's so many people listening to all of this, and it's exhausting. I mean, what's next? Are we gonna start using The Simpsons to? Are we gonna start using The Simpsons in place of news? Simply put, everything is exaggerated. Everything you could possibly fear is exaggerated. And most people aren't capable of keeping calm. They're reactionary. And it spreads. If you're still here, Insight Hub, what are you interested in doing? What skills do you possess? What educational background do you have? Are you considering college? Do you have a plan for that? Are you maybe even in college as we speak? Do you maybe have a job at the moment and you're just saving money? I'm going to give every one of you a little bit of advice. If you have a story to tell, tell it. There's always going to be a need for stories. If you've ever had an idea, write it down, think it through. What I've been doing for weeks now is taking a notebook, an empty one, and filling out its pages with all of my thoughts regarding a story that I plan to turn into a book one day. It's basically an outline, but a rough one. I read through what I've already written. Fairly often. I plan on eventually writing a new one because there are some inconsistencies, contradictions, and seeing as it is supposed to be a guide for me in the future, those can't be there. Um, Handwriting is a very important skill. It needs to be used. You can't let it rust. Can't let yourself get rusty. Now, when I am eventually ready to write it, to write the book, I will be using a laptop to type it up. But all of the material, such as the lore, information on the characters, as I just said, the outline, that's all going to be written in notebooks. My plan is to label them so that each notebook contains specific information. And that's how I'm going to do it. It'll keep me on track. The world is going to need more writers. If that is addressed to me, I absolutely will. So long as it's in relation to the topics I've already been discussing. Or is it perhaps a way to use those same ideas in a different way? I've also sort of taken up reading again. I just received, I had placed an order through Barnes and Noble. I just received two books, uh, an Edgar Allan Poe collection and a Sherlock Holmes collection. Um, Read a little bit of the Sherlock Holmes one yesterday. Probably going to go back to the beginning and reread what I had just read. Um, Today, my aunt had also given me a novel by a man named, I think it's Grisham, and it's called An Innocent Man. There have been movies adapted from his works in the past. Um, so I plan to read through those in time. Focus on that. Focus on the story. Those are what I plan to get this outline more or less done within the next 6 months. I'm gonna take it slow. I'm not gonna rush. I'm not gonna take forever, but I'm not gonna rush. My plan is to outline at least enough material for 3 books. Um, anyway, I want to apologize to everyone here because my plan was to talk about uh, that fun little crossover idea, which I greatly enjoy discussing because, I mean, it's the Power Rangers, which I love, Transformers, which I don't necessarily love, but I think are awesome, and Iron Man, who is amazing. So I'll put a little disclaimer in the comments. And we'll try to get back on track in the next stream. And to that, um, I think we'll end the stream here. Thank you all for attending. Um, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you would like to. Um, as well as if you will be watching this after the stream has been made public. Again, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. This will be Black Angel Inserts signing out. Wakanda forever. And the truth is, I am Iron Man.